Listen.
If you do not understand white supremacy, what it is, and how it works, everything else that you understand will only confuse you. Now sometimes people say, well, you mean everything that I understand will confuse me if I don't understand racism? Yes, because racism is the dominant political and religious motivating force among the people of the planet in all 9 areas of activity: economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war. That covers just about everything that any person, minute by minute, might be doing or engaged in any time of day or night, anywhere on the planet. But what does change is when the white supremacists are affected. And that's when you sit up and take notice. See, we watch each other like hawks. Black people, even walking down the street, you don't pay any attention to white people at all. It's like they're not even there. We just kind of glance at them, make sure we don't bump into them or something like that. But generally, they're invisible. They're invisible to us. We're not invisible to them. But generally speaking, it kind of looks like they are. But they have already paid enough attention to us to have us under their thumb. So on a minute-by-minute basis, they don't look up and check out black people at all, white people. When they get on the subways and whatnot, they, on a plane, they open a book or look at the iPads or something like that. There ain't no point in talking to you. They ain't going to learn nothing that they don't already know that's worth knowing. They already know that. See? You're not good conversationalists, none of us, even when we think we're smart. Whatever we know, they know where we got it, okay? That's worth knowing. And they also know one thing for sure. We are prisoners of war. So if they're on the warden's staff, they can entertain themselves by sitting next to a prisoner, all right? One of the guards come down and sit down and talk to one of the prisoners. Well, that's just, casual entertainment. But you're still a prisoner. And they are still on the warden's staff. So they just go back to doing what they're doing. Because why? It's advantageous in a prison to be on the warden's staff. And you are not a prisoner. You're on the staff of prison masters. You're not a prisoner of war. So, a lot of black people say, well, white people don't like us. It's not a matter of liking. White supremacy is a business. It's a gangster business, like the Corleones. What did Santino in the movie The Godfather kept trying to tell young Michael? Michael, you're getting excited about being hit on the jaw. It wasn't personal. That lick on the jaw, it wasn't personal. It's business. They're just putting you in your place, knowing what your place is in the structure. They don't have anything against you personally, but you're violating the laws of the structure. The laws, and in the broader sense of what we're talking about, white supremacy has laws. And so when that white person says something harsh on the job to a black person, it's not really personal. It's that, wait a minute, you're forgetting your status. You are in the system of white supremacy, fella. You're a nice guy, and I like you and all like that. Personally, if you just want to get personal, I really like you. I like you better, and I've had white people say that. I really like you better than I like a whole lot of white people. But it ain't about liking. You all think it's about who likes who. It ain't about who likes anybody. It's about taking care of business. And I am in the business master category. You happen to have been born in a category that's not a master category. Sorry about that. That's not my fault, buddy. That's not my fault. I can't help it if I was born white and a member of the royal family. You just ain't royal. And it ain't personal. I like you personally better than I like anybody in my family. But I got to do harm to you. Why? Because that's the white code, that's why. And I can't violate the white code, period. Now, they don't tell us that, but that's what that means. And that's what I mean by understanding white supremacy. When you understand that one principle, that's a gold mine of knowledge. And Neely Fuller didn't invent it. He had to have it knocked into his head. I mean, not literally, but figuratively, over a period of years, I finally got it. It's important to just understand all of the things that the white supremacists do. Because anything that you miss, that whatever you miss about the way they go about doing things, that's what's going to eventually trip you up. They already know that. I mean, the system of white supremacy is very, very, very finely tuned, like a smooth-running automobile engine. It's very fine-tuned, and they're always checking to see that that engine is running smoothly. If they hear any rattles or anything, I mean, they go and check on it immediately, because it's not supposed to happen. I mean, they want a smooth operation. And the refinement stage of white supremacy means they do it so smoothly that the average black person, the average non-white person will say, white supremacy, that doesn't exist. What's that fool talking about? What are these stupid people talking about some white supremacy? I do what I want to do. I go where I want to go. Nobody tell me what to do. So then the white supremacist will look at that black person and say, that's exactly the way we want all of them to think, that we don't even exist. That everything, that they're running everything, that black people run the world. That's the way we want them to think. That is the ultimate in the refinement stage of white supremacy. See, white supremacy goes through 4 stages. The first stage is establishment. I don't know when it was established. Some people say 600 years ago. Some people say 400 years. Some people say, no, 2,000 years. Then there are other people, depending on what scholar you talk to, say, oh, no, 6,000 years. That's when they really got established, 6,000 years ago. All right? That's a long time. Now, I say I don't know, but I do know that they are in business now, the biggest business on earth. No business is bigger than that, the system of white supremacy. Okay. So I'm saying, I don't know when it's established, but it was established. Otherwise, we wouldn't be having this conversation. That's number one. And then the second stage is maintenance. Just like anything that you start, you want to maintain it. You want to go around, if you put together an aircraft or something like that, you come around and check. Or you put together an air conditioning system or a plumbing system, you come and check it every now and then, see if it's running smoothly. That's what you call maintenance. Okay. Yeah, you see it, everything is in place. And then expansion is when you take in more people. Expansion. That's the third stage? Supremacy. And there's more people on the planet now than there was, say, 10,000 years ago or 200 years ago. More people on the planet. And most of them are non-white. So you're getting more and more people, as your capital, you might say, in your business. You're taking in more and more slaves because they're being born. More people are being born all the time. And they're being born in your prison. All right, that makes your prison expand. All right, you make more room for them in your prison. Okay, and then the last stage, and this is the stage they want to stay in, refinement. You make your prison look like it's not a prison, where the prisoners are concerned. Now you got a smooth operation situation. Okay. All right. Where you have people walking around saying, nobody tells me what to do. I'm my own man. I'm 21 years old. I'm grown. All right. I ain't no child. I mean, I go and do what I please, when I please, whatever I please, and have the non-white females doing the same thing. Okay. That's a perfect situation for a prison master. Okay, let me get this straight. Establishment, maintenance, expansion, and refinement. Establishment, maintenance, expansion, and refinement. Okay. Now, they are trying to stay in the refinement stage. But, a lot of black people are saying, wait a minute. We're in a system of racism. You can't fool me about that. Hey, racism does exist. Okay. Racism is real. Racism is real. Now, you got a whole lot of black people who are saying that now. Okay. Not all over the world. not near as many as should be. Nowhere near as many.
Okay.
But you have a substantial number.
All
now,
right.
that disturbs the white supremacist business. Because in the refinement stage, you're not supposed to be aware that there is such a thing as racism.
Correct.
All right? It's supposed to be so smooth, so they are arguing among themselves now. The white supremacists are.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And see, I mean, I told you to keep this thing in the refinement stage. Now, you got others that are saying, no, it's kind of getting out of hand. We got to start using the hammer and the fist. We got to start gunning them down like we did in the old days. We got to be right in their face 24 hours a day.
Okay.
They said, yeah, that'll work for a little while, but all that'll do is stir them up.
Yeah.
You don't want to stir them up. You don't want to woke them up. Let these Negroes sleep on. Don't woke them up. Let them sleep on.
Mm-hmm.
All right? Keep them asleep.
Okay.
Refinement stage.
Refinement.
That way you can lay down and go to sleep, and they'll be waiting on you hand and foot, thinking that they're serving each other, thinking that they're serving themselves. That's what you want, a smooth-running machine.
All right.
There is a system of white supremacy, which is racism, which is designed to do what? Dominate and mistreat people of color. Anybody who is classified as black, brown, red, yellow, tan, beige, has a little bit of color in his or her skin, or somebody said that they did, even if a person looks white, but they say that, well, you got a great grandmother that had some color. All right. Oh, okay. Well, they're in the mistreatment category, right? Yep. Those are the people that you're supposed to mistreat because they got color in their skin. You know, if they got color in their skin, they're supposed to be mistreated. I mean, you know, something is out of order if they're not being mistreated now. You got to mistreat those people that's got color in their skin. Well, why is that? You know, because I said so. Is that the reason? Yeah. That's all it took.
That's all it took. Wow.
And it's a lot of benefits that go with it. See? It's a lot of benefits that go with that. Mistreating people based on color, having a whole category of people, black, brown, red, yellow, tan, beige, just have some color in their skin, and you can do anything you want to with that person, and nobody's supposed to say anything about it. Isn't that a wonderful proposition? Have somebody wait on you hand and foot, do whatever you say do, think the way you want them to think, on account of the color of their skin. Don't you think that that's a wonderful thing to have when you got millions of people like that right there at your beck and call? Ain't that wonderful? Yeah, well, but that, you know, that sounds like that ain't right. Well, we're not talking about right and wrong now. We're talking about what's convenient. Oh, well, it is convenient. Well, then, that's all we need to think about. What's convenient? All right? I mean, that's natural. That's normal. People like to do what's convenient, and racism is convenient for any person classified as white. All right? End of story. Period. And so the average white person takes a look at that and say, well, what if we didn't have racism? Then that means you don't have a category of people that you can mistreat and get away with. Do anything you want to with. Use any kind of way you want to. Underpay them. Don't pay them at all. I mean, you know, you going to give that up? Give it up for what? What are you going to have if you give it up? Well, you got a point there. Yeah, I'll go with racism. So the average white person has every incentive to be a racist.
I see. Okay.
That's the bottom line that I want to, you know, get to.
Okay.
Every white person, when given that kind of option, do you want the option of having people at your beck and call, people kissing your foot anytime you tell them to, and it ain't nothing they can do about it except kiss it? Isn't that a convenience? Well, you put it that way, it is. Now, you want to give it up and just have to everybody equal, which means you're going to have to work harder. You ain't got nobody to push around. When you get mad, you don't have nobody that you can go over across town and kick or shoot and whatnot. You just have to try to work it out. I mean, you don't have that convenience, you know. Well, yeah, I see your point. I see your point. Yes, I see your point. That's a wonderful point. Well, I know it ain't right, but it's convenient, like you say,
and we'll worry about the right later. I mean, you know.
Okay.
I mean, if ever.
If ever.
And that's all racism is, folks.
Okay.
That's all it is. It's a super convenience if you're white. Now, some people have said they've seen some cartoons of my work on the internet that have been presented, and that it pretty well embellishes what I have been trying to say in my textbooks. And to the extent that it does that, well, that has been, from what I understand, some people reported to me, a plus. Because they didn't understand what I had written very well, but when they saw those cartoons that just repeated what I was saying and attaching my name to it, and came right out of the book, the material did, they say that they better understood it. And I can understand that because people are kind of visual, particularly in the year 2021 now, more visual than ever. Now, some people have said they've seen some cartoons of my work on the internet that have been presented, and that it pretty well embellishes what I have been trying to say in my textbooks. And to the extent that it does that, well, that has been, from what I understand, some people reported to me, a plus. Because they didn't understand what I had written very well, but when they saw those cartoons that just repeated what I was saying and attaching my name to it, and came right out of the book, the material did, they say that they better understood it. And I can understand that because people are kind of visual, particularly in the year 2021 now, more visual than ever.